High school student who was elevated to Mick Mullane's vacant spot. Ettingshausen scored a try in Cronulla's 26-24 win and played well enough to convince onlookers he'll be around for quite a while.
In 1983, a kid with potential was plucked from a Sydney high school by Cronulla coach Terry Fernley to play first grade. He didn't know it then, but over the next 17 years, this shaggy blonde-headed schoolboy would become the face of rugby league.
I think they'll put a bit of pressure on me at the start, but I should be able to handle it. I can remember Terry ringing up Mum and Dad and asking whether or not they thought, I'd handle first grade and whether or not it was not rushing me in. And Mum and Dad, I think, jumped at the chance and said, yeah, put him there.
Andrew Ettingshausen, whose spotless image has survived and soared through the most turbulent times in the game's history. A consummate media-savvy professional whose on-field ability is rivalled only by his durability.
The unveiling of the Andrew Ettingshausen stand here at Shark Park on the western side of the ground.
Yesterday, he joined one of the most exclusive clubs in rugby league, one which has only 4 other members. Alongside Terry Lamb, Cliff Lyons and Paul Langmack, the kid from Cronulla has now played 300 first-grade games.
We had a few games together back in '85, I think it was. And, Matty started his career with him, so he's seen the end of mine and the start of my boys.
I mean, he's been around for so long, and we're sort of treating it as he's going to be there forever, but we know he's not, and until that day comes, we're just going to be there and happy that he's with us.
He really is a good on-the-field leader. He's decisive. He's got tremendous respect from the other players. He's really sort of grown into that role.
E.T. has also scored 152 tries, which makes him equally the 3rd highest of all time. His most memorable?
I think it was on the 94 tour. Mel Meninga made this incredible bust and I scored in the corner.
The big bloke's away! Oppia's after him! Ettinghausen's coming in support! Meninga! He's running out of legs! He finds Ettinghausen! He scores!
There were also moments on tour he'd rather forget.
Shona Martin is responsible for publishing the shower picture of Andrew Ettingshausen.
E.T. was awarded $350,000 in damages.
You can't just stand, gets trodden on and stood over by anybody, so, if it came around again, I'd take the same action.
Magnificent occasion unfolding in front of us here. Brisbane are out there, Cronulla on their way.
His loyalty to the Sharks was rewarded in '97 with a Super League Grand Final appearance in which the Sharks lost to Brisbane. This year, after 29 appearances for his country and 30 games for his state, he's retired from representative football. Despite all of E.T.'s achievements, he has yet to win a grand final. In fact, his club Cronulla, now known as the Sharks, have never won a premiership. And with E.T.'s contract due to expire at the end of next season, time is running out for the 33-year-old to achieve his last remaining goal.
And if it came to be that I was never to win a premiership, well, that would just be bad luck. And, I've had a fantastic career along the way.
And his eye, now it's Nick Graham. He's got the puck to Andrew Ettingshausen. You would not believe it, would you? Celebrates his 300th first-grade game. The fairy tale has happened here.
So I've never set time limits. I think that's a key. I think you've just got to go out there and you'll know when you're not able to compete at the top level, and that will be time to hang the boots up. He just represents so much that is great about rugby league, a local boy, and he unites the whole community.
It is an uplifting and an enduring story. Roy Masters, when you think of E.T., what do you think about?
The first thing I think is that he is the first man to achieve 300 games with the one club. And in an era where there are so many multi-club men, the blokes ahead of him in terms of the number of games that have been played have done it with 2 and 3 clubs. He's done it with only 1, which is sending out a significant message to all of the rugby league community that loyalty is still perhaps the most important ingredient in the game.
And that one thing missing, he says, is there any chance that they may reward him with a premiership in the next year or 2?
If Cronulla got their best team on the field and circumstances went their way, it seems to me that the teams that can beat them are the ones with slightly more skillful players, such as Sydney City and St George, for example, if they made it, or Newcastle with the tremendous boot of young Johns. If circumstances went their way, they had their best team on the paddock, they could win the first premiership. Therefore, the club's very first premiership.
Or wouldn't that be a moment for him? They're back on top of the table after that win yesterday. Auckland, well, they upset Canterbury. Canterbury had won 7 straight. Melbourne looked very strong against Sydney City on Friday night. And Parramatta, a bit of a surprise, have now won 5 out of 7. They were too good for Canberra.
Bounces